Welcome to today's webinar, Reserve Seating at AWS reInvent 2016. Our presenter today is Cole Platt. Cole is responsible for developing the tools used by attendees during reInvent. In this role, Cole focuses on helping attendees managing their on-site experience with various tools such as the reInvent mobile app, the reInvent My Account page, and also the session catalog. Today with us for our moderator, Jennifer Harvard. They will serve as our moderators and engage with you and answer your questions throughout the presentation while Cole presents. Cole, welcome. The floor is now yours.
Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Cole, as Ryan said. We're excited to talk to you today about some exciting features that we built for 2016 reInvent. Today what we're going to talk about is reserve seating. This should be something that we hope enhances your experience while on site. Again, we have Q&A moderators, Jill and Annie and Jen should be here to help answer any questions. So please engage. We'll do our best to get to as many possible. And with that, we'll dive right in. So again, we've been working on this new requirement this year, which is what we're calling reserve seating. The first piece of this reserve seating requirement will be introducing you to the 2016 session catalog. The session catalog is an essential tool that you'll need to use this year for managing your 2016 on-site experience. Unlike previous years, the session catalog was used for creating a favorite list and coming up with items that you may be interested in attending from a session perspective. It looks like, based on some of the polling questions that we asked early while everyone was in the waiting room, that this may be this is about 70% of people on the webinar, maybe their first time at reInvent. So a quick history lesson. As reInvent has grown, has grown as an event, we have increased the numbers, increased sessions, done our best to help get everybody the sessions that they're interested in. But one of the problems that we have experienced in previous years is the inability to reserve seats and get into sessions that you were most interested in attending. And a lot of the reason is we have sessions that were very popular, people would favorite those items, but inevitably there would be lines and rooms only have so much capacity. And so we would end up with attendees that would wait in line and end up not getting into the sessions that they were interested in. So with introduction of reserve seating, before the event starts, we will have attendees will have the ability to log in to the session catalog, explore interesting sessions or different things that we have to offer while on site, and actually reserve a seat and we hope that everyone finds it as helpful as we do. With that being said, we have some information here for the session catalog introduction. We have the session, we'll go through some of the session catalog information here in a minute. I'll have a demo that we can provide. But this year's session catalog, again, will be an essential tool that we'll need to use ahead of your on-site experience as well as while you're on site. We'll have details here for all sessions, keynotes, and some other items that you'll find interesting, not necessarily 100% related to sessions, but there will be this will be your main source of information for any kind of details regarding content for your experience on site. Scheduling and reserving seats in a session will be completed from the session catalog. So we're going to go through a demo here shortly, but we're asking everyone to visit the session catalog, explore the content, and build a calendar for every day while you're in Vegas via the session catalog. This year you'll still have the ability to favorite sessions. So again, you can go in and build a favorite list, and so when you find you're interested in certain tracks or certain sessions, you can still build a favorited list by starting them in the session catalog. That won't necessarily reserve your seat for those sessions, but you'll have the ability to build a favorite list just like you were in previous years. So next, again, staying on the topic of the session catalog, all registered attendees will need to log in to their 2016 reInvent account to build their event calendar. And so again, we want to emphasize this. Unlike previous years, this year, logging into your reInvent account is 100% a necessity this year. In years past, we had a lot of attendees who would register, they would give us all their information, and they would never visit their reInvent account after registration because there was really no need. So people wouldn't necessarily go in and build a favorited list. They would wait until they were on site, and at that point they would view the session catalog and find items that they were interested in attending. This year it will be dramatically different because reserve seating will be launched here very shortly, and sessions will fill up quickly. And so if our registered attendees do not log in to their My Account page for reInvent and start building their session catalog, when they get on site, the sessions they may have been interested in could be full. The session catalog launch is scheduled for October 19th, 2016. So we're holding to this date. We're working very hard to make this happen. You'll receive an email confirmation once the catalog launches. So everyone stay tuned. Once we get into the session catalog, you'll see how it works, but the content is pending. And so I want to provide one more caveat here as we dig into the demo. Again, the demo that we're going to provide is in a test environment, so the content is completely made up. When you log in on October 19th and start building your session catalog, when you start building your calendar from the session catalog, there will be substantially much more content. So I think we have 450 sessions. There will be tons of information here. The content that we're about to provide is made up, and it's in a test environment. So it'll feel a little different once you're actually logged in. With that being said, we ask everyone on the 19th to log in and explore the session catalog once it's ready. You can access via the links here, and we'll provide these to you, but you can access directly from the dashboard link that I provided at the top. And it's also available from the reInvent 2016 homepage, which is listed there. So with that, let's dive into the demo. So I want to start here. This is the reInvent homepage, and so everyone should have seen this when they would have registered. This is nothing new, but from the window over here, from the menu, we have the ability to log in. So I want to take you here. This is the production website. So just one call out before we dive in to the demo. When you do go to visit the reInvent website, if you forget your login information, you can land on this page and you can follow the path here for forgot your username or password. So by clicking that link, you can provide the email address that you used during registration. You can follow the directions. An email will be sent to you with the information that you provided, and you can reset your password via this path here. So again, just a call out. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you do forget your username or password, there's a very standard flow for that from the login page on the home page. With that, we're going to go into the test environment, and we'll talk through the session catalog. And so I have an account created here in our test environment. So when you log in for the first time to the session catalog, you'll view the dashboard. We're on the dashboard view right here. You can see the participation information in the menu on the left. And some callouts here. We'll talk about this a little bit more later, but the schedule is exactly what you would think. So this is the schedule that you're going to build for yourself while you're on site. We have recommendations, which is basically like imagine the Amazon recommendation bar where we're recommending items to you to buy. This is a very similar thing. We're going to recommend sessions for you based on titles and various other tags that we have. And then there's a favorited list. And so we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but from the dashboard, you can very quickly and easily view your favorited list here on the left. So from here to start, what I would recommend is visiting the Browse and Search tab here in the event menu. And from here, again, the participation menu stays exactly the same. So there will be no changes here. But when you dig into the event section of the menu, we have the ability to browse and search. and from here, based on session type, tracks, media type, et cetera, you'll be able to filter on all of the sessions that are listed in the actual session catalog to the right. And so once this is actually built out, these filters will be much more meaningful. And so you can, again, just check which ones may be interested from a track perspective or a session type if you want to only look at breakout sessions, if you want to look for workshops, et cetera, those will all be listed and easily filtered on the left. You also have the ability to use a keyword search. And so at the top, if there's something specific that you're looking for, a session that you think might be interesting, maybe you're looking for something security related, mobile related, you have the ability to do a keyword search here. Remember the exact match function right here. So if you want to look for something as an exact match, you can do it right there. With that, the session catalog will look like this. So let's assume for a second that we filtered on, on certain sessions that we found to be very interesting. From here, they'll all be listed. And so you can click within each one of these to find specifics about the session. So we'll have details related to, in this case, the manual mobile app testing session. So by clicking this, again, this content is not real, so there will not be any details, but you can see how this looks and the details that will be provided for you regarding each session. From there, we have the ability to favorite or remove favorites from this section. So I want to touch on this very quickly. When you're going through this, if you're not really committed to reserving a seat yet, but you think something might be interesting, you have the ability to add it to your favorites. And so in this case, I just added the manual mobile app testing to my favorites. From the participation venue, very quickly, I can show you that my favorited items will be stored over here. From this section, I have the ability to remove, but I can also schedule. And so I have the ability to look at all the information from this view here in my favorites. I'd like to go back to the browse and search feature, and from here we'll actually run through a few use cases where we're going to reserve seats. So let's assume here that this new to AWS session is one that I'm interested in attending. I can click on the scheduling options drop-down, and you'll see this, the date information pops up here. And so I can look at this information, but I may not be 100% interested in doing that one right now. So I'm going to look at the cloud security one first. So from here, this one's reserved on Monday morning at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., so it's an hour duration. If I want to commit to reserving this, I can click the plus button. It's thinking, and here what it'll tell me is that I'm scheduled. And so what this means is I've actually reserved a seat, and there was availability in this room and for this session. And so I'm scheduled now on Monday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. And we'll talk a little bit more in a minute about the ramifications of that, but let's assume I've reserved that one. The next piece here, I want to look at the get a seat session. And so I'm going to apply this one. I'm also going to reserve my seat in this session as well. The next one I'm interested in is the deep learning. From here, I'm going to schedule this one. Again, all of these seats are reserved. This next one that I think is interesting is the manual mobile app testing session. So we can see here there's a difference in color. And so if I hover over this, the plus sign is actually yellow now. So what this means is that the session is full, which means I'm not going to be able to reserve a seat. This will not be green. And what it'll do when I add this is it'll tell me that I've been waitlisted. And so something that we'll talk about in a little bit is this concept of waitlisting. And so with reserved seating, as the rooms become full and the sessions become full, we have the ability to, attendees will have the ability to add themselves to a wait list. And so that, I decided to be added on a wait list here. The last one that I want to review real quickly is the new to AWS session. So if I click on this one, it's going to tell me that, again, the color has changed, so this is now gray. And it's going to tell me if I look at the flyout, the waitlisting for this particular session is full. And so what this means is there are not enough seats in the room. I can't reserve a seat, so the session is full. The wait list itself is also full. And so I really don't have an option here. So until the wait list becomes smaller, as people start falling off of the wait list, I'm not going to be able to look for this session specifically, or I'm not going to be able to join this session specifically. And so what we would recommend here, and we'll have more details on this when we get into some of the content specific things, but we would recommend looking for additional sessions or content that may be similar or at different times or different days that would have availability. So with that, I have built a small calendar here for Monday. And what I can do is look at this in a different view. And my favorite view when we're into this is the schedule. And so it's essentially the same information, it's the same tool, it's the same session catalog, but it's a different view. And so we're able to look day by day at the calendar that we've built for ourselves. And so Monday, we can see that first one that I scheduled at 7 a.m. called Cloud Security. It's green for reserved seat, and so I'm good to go for that one. As we move down through here, we can see some of the the additional sessions, the 10 a.m. that I scheduled, I'm on the wait list for, and so the color is different. And then we can see the other sessions that I've added here to the list. So one other call out, you have the ability to click and do a deep dive into each day. And so I'm going to click on Monday. This will pull up the edit my schedule view. And so from this day, we'll be able to see the sessions that we have available to us. And so you can also search here. So again, once the catalog is full, this will be very robust. And so you'll be able to see tracks and all of the sessions that may be available for you during these time periods. And so this is a very valuable way. Again, this is probably my favorite way to look at the session catalog. And from here, you have the ability to schedule or unschedule sessions. We can see a summary and some of the information is here as well. One other call out from this view, we have the ability to add personal time. And so the recommendation that we have for attendees on site is to use this event session catalog calendar view to manage your on-site experience. And so we want you to build all of your sessions and all of your times around here to provide enough time to move around, plan time for lunch, and plan time for other things that you may need to do during the day. If you have a personal meeting or if you need to step away for some time, we have this feature here called Add Personal Time, and you're able to do that right here. 5-minute increments, you can create a duration, put a description. This is a meeting time that I have that it's not related to anything in my schedule, but I'm going to add it here. You can see that shows up a different color. So with that, we can wrap up the demo. We're going to go back to the presentation. I have a few other call-outs regarding waitlisting and reserve seating. Okay, so again, reserve seating will be new this year. So we want to call out some best practices and some things that everyone should be familiar with because this will have a direct impact on your experience on site and how you schedule sessions. So when we look at, we're going to run through them one by one. Please ask questions. The moderators are standing by ready, and we'll do our best. I can address questions in the Q&A as we get past this. So number one, all sessions have a predetermined number of seats available and must be reserved ahead of time. So we've talked through this, but it's very important to emphasize. And what this means is sessions will fill up quickly, and so it's important to find sessions that you're interested in and make sure that you're one of the people that has a reserved seat based on this availability. Number two, once a session is full, an attendee can join a wait list. So again, we introduced this concept of wait listing, but I want to explain a little bit further what it means. So let's say a session we predetermined has an availability of 100 seats. So we'll have 100 reserved seats available for attendees to join. But what we'll do is we'll say for those 100 For that session with 100 reserved seats, we're going to allow a wait list of 25. And so 25 people we feel have we feel have a reasonable chance of actually reserving a seat, because we know people will change their schedule and pick new sessions and drop old ones, and there will be lots of moving around between now and the event and even on site. And so what we didn't want was we don't want to create a situation where we have a wait list with 300 people. So we have a wait list that will be very small, but waitlisting can be full, in which case you'll be told that the wait list is full and there's no way to even join the wait list in that case. Number 3, waitlist attendees will receive a seat in the order in which they were added to the wait list, and we'll notify them via email if and when a seat is reserved. So on a first-come, first-served basis, the number in which you were added to the wait list as seats become available will slowly move people in. So you won't lose your place in line, but we'll move attendees in. So somebody that's number 1 on the wait list will have a much higher chance of getting in than number 25, as an example. Number 4, only one session can be reserved for any given time slot. And so what this means is this concept of double booking will not be available for reInvent. And there are tons of reasons why we're doing this. We'd be interested in attendees' feedback after the event and how this works. But what I'll tell you is that what this means is if you reserve a session, you can't hold another seat at the exact same time for a second session. And so once you're reserving a seat, you're committing to that session during that time slot. Additionally, what this means is if you add yourself to a wait list for that time slot, you're committing to being on that wait list. And so there won't be the ability to kind of book a second session as kind of a fallback. You'll have to be on the wait list, and you'll be committed to being on that wait list and risk, not picking another session that you may be interested in. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware that this concept of double booking will not be available this year. Number 5, don't be late. So the minute the session begins, if you have not badged in to the session, attendees waiting at the line may receive your seat. And so we know that for very popular sessions, based on last year and really every conference that we've done, we'll have very popular sessions and people will be very passionate about certain topics. And even if reserved seating isn't available, or if there isn't a seat available, attendees may wait outside for a chance to get in to hear this session. And so what will happen is for every session you'll badge in using your reInvent badge. And the minute that the session begins, so let's say 1 p.m., the session is set to begin. At 1 p.m., anybody who had a reserved seat who is not badged in to claim their seat could lose their place in line. So if there's anybody else, we'll start opening up the doors and we'll start badging people in based on where they stood in line. So if you do show up, 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late, you may not get in if it's a very popular session. So we've provided enough time, we believe, based on the way the tracks are set up, to make sure that people have time to move between sessions. So it's just important to be prompt and be sure that you provide enough time walking between venues. Number 6, waitlisting will not be supported on site and will be turned off 7 days prior. So I want to touch on this briefly. Again, ask questions. Moderators are ready. Waitlisting 7 days prior to the event we will turn off. And so what this means is that anybody who is on a wait list currently at the 7 to 14 day prior to the event mark, we will notify you via email that you've been removed from the wait list. So the waitlisting functions will be turned off, and that block will then be available on your calendar. So if you were holding a spot on a wait list, all of a sudden that spot is free, and you'll be able to go find something else that has available slots. So additionally, the last call out for this piece regarding turning waitlisting off, we are doing this to help from a planning perspective. We also want to make sure that attendees don't hold out false hope that they'll get into a session and they end up on site with huge blocks of time unavailable. So we'll notify you when the waitlisting function is turned off, and we would encourage everyone, if you're on a waitlist, to go find a session to block your calendar for that time. While you are on site, this is a plug for the mobile app that we're developing. Here shortly, the mobile app will launch, and we would ask everyone on the call to download the 2016 reInvent app. You'll have full functionality in this app for scheduling, and you'll have full access to the session catalog. And so once the mobile app launches, you'll be able to reserve seats and manage your calendar from the mobile app while you're on site. So you can do it prior to the event, but it will mainly be used while you're on site to add new sessions, move things around, adjust your calendar, those kind of things. And so you'll have this desktop view that we looked at now, but you'll also have the mobile app as well. So number 7, last but not least, log in and build your calendar early. We can't emphasize this enough. Reserve seating is new for the AWS reInvent team, certainly for me, and it will be, it looks like, for a large majority of the people in the webinar today. So we encourage everyone to log in very early, build their calendar. Sessions are going to, we anticipate, sessions filling up fast. So take advantage of the early start and log in on October 19th. Within the deck, we've added this as just an FYI because we think it's so important. Make sure you log in. If there are questions about your username or password, we have the flow here. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can log in from the links that I provided earlier in the deck or from the reInvent homepage. And that's it.